Hi everyone, this is Elaine.
This is Habstrakt.
And you're here with Neon Al on Groove Cruise. Alright, so this is day 2 of Groove Cruise. How are you feeling so far?
So far so good, I really like it. It's a good bunch of people, it's good energy, it's a good boat, yeah. I'm looking forward to playing the show tomorrow, see how the crowd reacts to everything I have to play and everything, and yeah, so far so good, I like it. Yeah.
Amazing. What are you looking forward to the most?
In the cruise, you mean?
The cruise, or maybe your set?
I'm curious to see how a crowd that seems very house steakhouse is going to react to my stuff that's a little bit on the harder side of the spectrum, right? Because I don't really compromise much, so I'm going to play.
Yeah, you did tell me that. You're like, I'll play what I play.
I'm going to play some hard stuff, and I want to see how that goes down. And yeah, I'm curious for that. I'm curious to see how it goes down for sure.
Yeah. Are there any activities or artist sets that you're looking forward to seeing, or you're just cruising around?
I was very excited to see Bijou, Matroda, Clooney, all those guys I love really much, Nostalgics. In terms of activities, I'm kind of treating this as a holiday, so I'm not doing much.
Yeah.
Right?
You did just do the open door sessions demo listening party. What did you think? What did you think of all the demos submitted?
I was really nicely surprised by the overall quality of everything that I listened to today. And I know we talked about this, and I said I'm gonna make someone cry today.
He was supposed to be Simon Cowell on the panel today.
Yeah, I was supposed to break everything down and make somebody cry, and I was surprised. I think not surprised. I expected things to be good. Things are very, very, very good. All the tracks, and I heard some stuff that gives me hope about the general way where music is going. Right? I heard some very ambitious stuff today, and I like that. It inspires me in return. So yeah.
So what's in that cup? What are you drinking?
My drink of choice is an espresso martini.
I love
This is a bit of a modified version of whipped cream and caramel, but it's...
So on the theme of Groove Cruise, we have some fun questions for you. Then we'll get into you as an artist and your journey. But if you were the captain of this ship and you can set sail to anywhere in the world, where would we all be going right now?
I think we'd go to French Polynesia, Tahiti. It's number one on my destination of places I want to go right now. I've been lucky to play a show in Fiji and go to Hawaii as well, and French Polynesia, Tahiti is the last of those 3 islands lost in the Pacific that I really want to go to, so I think we'd head there. Yeah.
Okay. And let's say we couldn't do that, but instead you were stranded on a deserted island. What 3 items would you take with you?
Okay, so I've actually been thinking about this because I watched this TV show where they have to survive. I think it's called Lost.
Oh my gosh!
So I would definitely bring the ferro rod so I could make fire every time.
Okay.
I'd bring a good knife so I could hunt and cut my meat, and I'd probably pick the tarp, waterproof tarp, so I could build a little house and be protected from the elements. You can tell I thought about this.
Yes,
Yeah.
You were the first person to have actually thought about this.
Yeah, right.
But congratulations.
Thank you.
What if you can bring one person with you? Who would you bring?
Probably my girlfriend, because she's very good at facing adversity, and she knows how to overcome a challenge. And I would be less bored if I was my girlfriend.
Okay.
I would have said Bear Grylls, but I would probably want to kill him after 2 days. So I'm not drinking my urine, bro.
So here in Groove Cruise, of course, you're dressed pretty festive. You got the glasses on, but we all have themes. If you were to schedule a theme for everyone to dress up in, what would that theme be?
Goth.
Goth.
Everyone has goths. That would be fire.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm kind of a goth myself in secret, So.
On to you as an artist. You've been making music for a while. You've been crushing it. What inspired you to start this journey to begin with?
I'm gonna say for electronic music, because I've been making music since before I could even remember making music. I was born in a family of musicians, my mom, my dad, my sisters, and everything. What put me into electronic music was the ability to do everything yourself, right? I wanted to have a band. I was playing guitar. I had 2 best friends. One was playing the drums, one was playing the bass. So I was like, let's make a band. It's something ideal, right? We could never get along on what we wanted to do. I wanted to make punk and grunge. My other friend wanted to make emo metal, and the drummer wanted to make jazz. So it was like, okay. And electronic music gave me the ability to be in my bedroom at 13 years old and just mess around with machines, with be able to do the drums, the bass, the part, all parts myself. And what I love about electronic music and what dragged me into it was the ability to create a whole world out of pretty much nothing on my own, anytime and anywhere I wanted to. And I thought that was really powerful, and that was very satisfying as well.
Yeah. So you've been making music for some time. For those that, let's say, haven't heard you yet, how would you describe your sound to them? And do you feel like that's changed and evolved over the last X amount of years, 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, I think I define my sound as being unapologetic and raw and a little punk on the edge, as in like I don't really abide by any code, and I do whatever I want. And that leads me to the second part of your question, is as my sound evolved, absolutely, because of those codes were like, I will not confine myself to just do the same thing on repeat and to repeat the same codes. And if I make something that's successful, I will not repeat that again. I will tend to go to something else. And as of now, yet again, for the billionth time in my life, pushing those boundaries again and trying to reinvent my sound. And I think evolution is a big part of what I do. Right? And the challenge of always trying to innovate and creating something new is a big part of my whole creative process. Yeah.
So when faced with that challenge, like how do you deal with that? It's like time to recreate something new, like reinvent something and push those boundaries. Like what are the challenges you face, and then how do you deal with that when creating?
I try to aim for something. My basic rule is always trying to make something you've never heard before. And I guess the challenge in that situation would be that how could you tell that it's never been made before? Have you heard every piece of music ever made on earth? But I apply that scope to just what I know and the scene that I evolve in and the people around me, and I challenge myself to never stay comfortable. So I guess that's it. Yeah, always try to make something I've never heard before.
Yeah. You've had some really cool collaborations, from Joss to Skrillex. Out of all the collabs you've had and songs you've made, would you say there's been a favorite project?
The Skrillex collaboration was a big thing for me because I've learned so much from that man, and it was the most inspiring moment of my life to watch him work and to be in the studio with him. And I've learned so much on so many aspects, from my own personal life to how I should assume and approach my own creativity. Yeah, it was a very, very good experience. It was a turning point in my life and career to have the opportunity to meet him and work with him.
Yeah.
And really, really proud of what came out. That song Chicken Soup is the only song that I can still play after all those years and still be like, I fucking love it. It's just so good.
Yeah.
And that definitely was a huge thing for me. Yeah.
Are there any other people that you look forward to collaborating with in the future?
DJ Snake.
Okay.
We've been talking about it for years. But just like me, DJ Snake is French. Things are either, for French people, things are either the best thing ever or complete garbage. There's no in between. And so we worked on a few ideas. We exchanged a bunch of ideas. We could never find the one that both transcended us. Like every other creative process in making music, there's a lot of trial and error. So we haven't found yet that thing, but we both really want to work with each other. That's really the one thing I really want to do in my career, is make a song with them. Yeah.
You were telling me that you're working on a new album right now. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Give us a little sneak peek.
Yeah, not just a new album. It's my first album under this project after 10 years of releasing singles, a few EPs and everything. This is my first really long play with 15 records on it. I just finished it 3 days ago, so I'm very I'm in a bit of a void right now because it's the first time that I spent an entire year working on one single project that takes all my mindset, all my energy and everything. I've been very good at showing it to absolutely nobody. Nobody's heard it except for like 2 or 3 very close friends and my team. I didn't play the songs live. I kept it completely undercover, so it's a big thing for me to be anxious right now about revealing. And it's gonna surprise, I think, a lot of people, and it's the one that know me really well will be loving the fact that I'm assuming my full spectrum a lot bigger. When you just release singles, you tend to try to make something that fits, the mold, fits the schedule, and fits the era, and you make club bangers after club bangers. The structures, the music that you make, it's kind of like fitted toward a certain model. And on this album, I broke all those rules and I made whatever I wanted. There's like 4 ambient songs on it, songs with no drums at all for an entire song. Um, there's songs that are completely self-generated by my modular synth, so it's generative music. The synth plays itself, it provides all the notes, and I'm just recording it.
Yeah.
I used a lot of different ways of producing music that I wouldn't normally have the chance to use when it's just what I'm gonna call feeding the machine, or just giving out singles. And making music as an artist these days is kind of like your music is almost treated like content, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to break down. I had to feel like I'm making art again.
Yeah.
And that's why I hope I've achieved with this album. But time will tell, and how people view it will tell as well.
Yeah. After releasing music for so long, why did you feel like now was that time for you to create this and put this out?
Like I said, I needed to break the cycle because it was getting very stale for me. Mm-hmm. The way we work as artists with labels and with the music industry in general is, like I said, it feels like we're just feeding the machine, and your music is treated like content. And I've always seen myself more as an artist than a DJ, and I make visual arts. I make graphic design, videos, tattoos. I mean, and a lot of little niche and bubbles, but for me, things all relate to one global vision that I don't feel we're allowed to express too much, because things have to fit the shape of how everything is wanted, and I wanted to break out of it to show people something different, but also for myself.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of losing hope in the whole thing, and when you've done the same thing for a very long time, and when you mix your passion with, your job, because that's my job, making music, right? It's hard to keep the passion alive when the financial responsibility is involved, right? So I needed something to save me, to save me out of it, and to make me regain hope and love into what I was making. And I've achieved that.
Yeah.
I needed a new creative process, and I needed to do something that filled my whole vision.
Yeah.
And not listen to anybody. And this is why the album is going to be independent. No labels telling me what to do. I make the rules, and this has been incredibly empowering and inspiring in return. And I forgot about that feeling of like being inspired, making something, and that thing inspires you in return, and that sort of love, generous cycle that you create for yourself. I was steering away from it by being too much in this industry mode that I needed to go back to allow myself to feel things and express those feelings.
Yeah.
Right.
And for all these aspiring artists watching and listening out there, what piece of advice do you have for them?
It's gonna sound cliche, but follow your heart. Really try to assume that part of your vision that you think is right. Don't tend to follow all the trends and brands and everything. Create something that you believe to 100%, because you'll be able to defend that no matter what. Mm-hmm. Right? Vision before anything else. Your vision is your most precious tool. That being said, you also need to use and to know how to use all the tools at your disposition. Nowadays, being an artist is much more than just making a song. You have to know to promote it. You have to know to use social media. So you have to learn, and you have to use all those tools that are given to you. One of the big groundbreaking thing that appeared to a generation the last few years is TikTok for me. Changed everything in the landscape of how you can out of nowhere, be viral, make something that reaches people that would otherwise have never found you. And when your whole life is defined by algorithm, your whole life online, the way you promote something refreshing like that, it's very good. So you have to embrace the world you live in, and try to find your way to use those tools in a way that's personal and that inspires you, that is fun for you. This needs to be fun, otherwise you'll just burn yourself out, and you won't like what you're doing.
Yeah. What would you consider is your definition of success? And do you feel like you have achieved that yet?
Success for me is a construct. I don't really care for success. What's really important for me is respect. I don't care of being successful if I'm not being respected. But I care about being respected even if I'm not successful, right? So for me, it's the notion of culture, it's the notion of having a scene, it's the notion of learning things from people and give that knowledge back to other people, sharing advice, and having a good dinner with friends and sharing conversation and talking about what we do, and everyone involved in this industry, from the music producers to the manager, the agents, the people that work on the road, the technicians, the promoters that put on the shows. It's about learning to give and to receive from everyone, and that to me is much more important than success. And I think if I had to talk about success, it would be more if I'm happy with what I've done, if I can go to bed happy, and not worried, then I'm successful. The rest, you know, money, fame, and everything, these are constructs, and doesn't really matter for me. If I cared about that, I would have made choices a long time ago that would have led me there, and I've on purpose turned my back to a lot of decisions that could have, you know, taken me higher, but at the detriment of my own vision and my own integrity. So respect and integrity matters so much more than success.
Yeah. What's 3 words people that are close to you would use to describe you?
French as fuck.
That's already 3 words.
Yeah, that's 3 words in one.
French as fuck.
Grumpy, lasagna.
French as fuck, grumpy, and lasagna.
Yeah. People think I'm actually not grumpy at all.
I don't think so. So I've just met you for like less than 24 hours.
I just love to be grumpy. It's so much.
You're hilarious.
It's so much more fun to just say bad things about things. It's the French principle. It's always expect the worst, so you're always nicely surprised. You're just like, oh, actually, it wasn't too bad. But if I set myself up for everything's gonna be awesome, then I'm always disappointed.
Yeah.
Instead, be disappointed from the get-go, so you're always.
So it's only up from here. Right. It's only up from here.
Right. Yeah.
And final thing is, what are you most grateful for right now?
Honestly, friends, family, my team, my girlfriend at home, my 2 cats. But just all the people around me that put up with me in all those moments where I'm feeling low and I don't, you know, all the people that travel with me that like work so hard to make this thing happen, because it's not just me. There's a huge team of people behind, you know, that work day and night every day of the week to make everything that you see on the forefront happen, and I'm grateful for that. I'm really grateful for having a family that let me do whatever I wanted, that quit studying and have no diploma, I had no money for most of my life, but I believed in something, and I'm grateful that the people around me allowed me to believe. And I'm really grateful for that, and for the hard work of people around me that believe in the vision. Yeah.
Amazing.
It's a blessing.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's amazing to have you on the ship. We can't wait to hang out with you, and we can't wait to hear the album.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Yay.